third kind of matrix I would probably suggest is that the questions themselves, however random, weighted.
Yes.
So the person might get to the gates in the fastest way possible, but the way he got there minimizes what he can sell. For example, he got very fast to the gates, but now he can sell only product B.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes.
he took another path,
Maybe he would sell 3 products.
he would sell 3 products.
Because he doesn't know that the doctor's particularly interested in something because he's got a patient for
Yes.
and those sort of personal emotive things. That,
Mhm.
yeah.
And again, the benefit is that since you work with this in the database, you do not need to recode the base of the program to change this.
Yeah.
And I would strongly recommend, I will insist that you try to, that you test it in a real life environment and see how well your ideas about metrics reflect the real abilities of the people and what they do and how they behave. Because, well, as we all know, sometimes a person can pass the exam with flying colors and don't do anything particularly well in real life.
Yeah, have you been able to measure, using this?
Yes.
And what kind of success stories or failures can you, taking this and then, the practical side of applying it. So
Okay, I can't name names, but
No.
for example, the teamwork test of the cubes
Yeah.
is being used in a couple companies.
Okay.
Not on pre-hire, in post-hire stage.
All right.
And it was useful in the sense of that sometimes it's people, the type of go-getters,
Right.
who just burn ahead, not watching anything on the left and right.
Right.
They were taken aside and they were shown their results with raw data from the database.
Yeah.
They were told this is not a good way to behave in our company,
Right.
because we measure, you might feel that you're personally very successful, but your team will fail.
So, would you say that there's a really good parallel between this world and the real world, as far as like how you could measure both? In other words, if you did the cube exercise in real world, and then you put them in the fantasy world where they get to be who they want to be, they can act however they want to act. Is there any way to measure those two? Or is this kind of like, like breed people to do things that, like mess up other people's cubes or interfere, like one statistic, but nobody did.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
People do behave in the second world the way they behave in the first one.
Interesting.
And it's really surprises me because I once was doing a presentation for the management of one company, and their main concern was, I never had heard this concern before or after. Their main concern was anonymity, that people use their avatar names, and oh gods, what will happen if they will behave in uncivilized manner,
Right.
and we don't know who said the bad word.
Ooh dear.
Well, unfortunately, probably, I'm a bad salesperson. I wasn't being able to sell anything to this company because my gut feeling response before I even had a chance to think was, no guys, if you are afraid that your people will behave in display bad manners and behave in uncivilized manner because of anonymity, you have much deeper problem than second life.
Right. Okay.
As you can imagine, there my sales presentation ended. But I do believe that if something like that is a concern, you need to address this before you even talk about anything.
If you just took another version of your cube thing, so you basically got here's a test, a bunch of people, here's the outcome. played around with morphing that from, well, here's the test, but I'm going to guide you, you know, here's a bit of guidance on it, or do you do anything like that? Or is it just, here's the problem, you guys do whatever you're going to do, and therefore we narrow this matrix so we can then tell you offline, this is good, this is good, you might do.
We try to move to from, if I understand the question correctly, we try to move the situation with a single test to a set of tests that measure different parameters and allow us to give more multi-dimensional view of person. So this guy thinks well on his feet, but he has low tolerance to interruption, and he cannot multitask. And and this guy, for example, does not a slow thinker, but he is very deliberate, and if you give him the task of thinking something through, you can be sure that he will think everything, all possibilities, all eventualities.
Yes.
But I don't know you can do it with a single test. You need to
No, that's what I was saying. So have you tried combining them and making like
the Second Life is a very young platform. We are in the beginning, but that's the way we want to move.
Because obviously, I mean, another, immediate parent, one of those tests you go to when someone wants to interview, the psych tests stuff.
Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs and all the flavours of all. Yeah, you can sit down. I mean, that would seem to map well to this particular model, particularly for the metrication bit. And also, if you were thinking, so if I was, we're all going to hire some team, we'd go, oh, right, well, we'll get you 4 people into a room together and run the test together, keep you two. Not that one would think like that, of course. Would it be incorrect?
Well, yes, we work in this direction. I just don't want to take existing tests and try to transfer, because I think to do direct transfer, I think it will not add as much to this test as capabilities of doing similar, to use the ideas of it and implementing them in 3D worlds, just not doing direct transfer. Anything else? Okay, guys.
One last little question that was off from my mind, and the other thing is like, okay, so we're projecting a 3D world, right? But we're still doing 2D nav. Now, if I had a Wii handheld thing, I could operate in a much more 3D manner in a 3D world. I mean, how do you?
Yes, and if you add 3D glasses and earphones, you may just get lost in virtual reality and not return.
I've done the immersive thing. It's like, oh, this is really weird.
And then there are these costumes right now that you can put that press on the different parts of your body and make you feel much more in virtual reality than in the real world. Yeah, it's probably something that might happen in the future.
Cool.
Great things, guys.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you stopping by.